Hey folks, it's that time of year where I share with you my favorites of 2022. My favorite thing about 2022 was Beyonce, honestly. Renaissance, best thing ever. But let's focus on decks. These are in no particular order, except I'm going to put my tippy tops at the very end. But other than that, there really is no particular order. The first one is sort of weird. It's the Radiant Tarot. I don't know what it is about this deck. There's a lot of things I really don't like about it, except there's a lot of things I really do like about it. I guess I should zoom in for these, huh? I saw this sort of in the bookstore and was like, it just looks like another deck. But then I saw it on some Instagram feeds and was like, first of all, it's a pip deck. So, love that journey for me. There's a lot of sort of animal heads on like human bodies, which normally would drive me nuts, but doesn't. I don't know. It's weird. And I don't particularly enjoy animal decks that much. But it's so rare to see sort of modern pip decks that kind of work, and I'm not mad at it. So, problems with it, yes, but this video is about sort of favorites, so I won't dwell on them. I addressed those problems in my review of it. When I brought this to the market to do readings, this was the one people kept picking. And I think partly because of the back. I mean, I think it sort of has sort of an optimistic look to it, but it definitely made people want to, to use it. So, bravo. The other one is an old favorite, but I just got a new edition of it. This is the Ellis deck. It's a borderless edition. I think it's the 5th edition. Yep. But I've had the original, not the original, the 2nd edition for a long time. And it looks great borderless. It looks great with a border. It's one of my favorite all-time decks. I got a lot of love for this one at the market, too. This one people didn't choose as much, I think, because the main thing I've always had about this deck is I don't like the back, and I think it doesn't sort of match the rest of the deck. But people loved it. And I love it. So I say bravo to this edition. I think he's just about to do another edition. I think this one on plastic cardstock. I'm not a lover of plastic cardstock because I find it hard to shuffle. What am I doing? Let's try to do that. Excuse me. And he's had other plastic editions of the deck in the past too, but it's just not a thing I'm wild about. This was not a very interesting year for me in terms of pip decks. I don't think I got many at all. This is the only one I can remember. Excuse me. This is the Taroki Parent 1865 that I saw through a friend and said, what is this amazing sort of thingy? And they were like, you're going to love it. And I was like, I do love it. And I got it. And it, took a minute to get here. I think it came from Italy. But can I get it out of this bag? It's just another reproduction deck, but love the back. The minors are the minors, but there's something about the majors that kind of really delights me. It sort of reminds me of like Les Mis for some reason. I don't know why. But really sexy cardstock for sure. I don't know. It's weird, but like the Magician is this sort of like, he just reminds me of like Thénardier and Les Mis. So, loving this. Think it's super cool. I think I did a video on all of these. Well, except for one. One I know I didn't do a video about on purpose. Yeah, I dig it. It's cool. I haven't really used it that much, because honestly, most of the readings that I did this year, I didn't do with pip decks, because I don't know, it was weird. Like, when I went to the markets, which is where I probably did the bulk of my reading, well, I had to have been, because I did like 10, 15 a night, is that, I was like, oh, if I use these like pip decks, are people gonna think, whatever, like, I don't know. So I didn't really use them much, but I feel like if that comes back as an opportunity next year, then I think I will. Although this one, the Radiant one, the Radiant Tarot is, and no one really questioned it, so maybe they're ready. Maybe the world is ready for more pippage. So off to the side. This was a nice discovery, the Queer Tarot, by Ash and Chess. Definitely did a video on this one. Definitely love it. Do not love the cardstock. It's kind of hard for me to handle, but beyond that, it's just everything I sort of want out of a tarot deck in 2022. It's cheeky, it's sort of modern, it's kind of timeless, it's representational, it's, you know, queer, it's neon, it's just joyful and cool and fresh and, like, hugely successful. Love the backs. The thing about the cardstock is not that it's not nice, it's just that it's so thick that it's hard for me to shuffle. You know, I have small hands, and it's a reality for me, you know? That's the thing, I sort of, you know, I love, you know, sort of archival, I guess, cardstock, but, you know, like I always say, tarot's a functional art, and it needs to be functional for those of us with small hands or arthritis or any other dexterity-ish that plagues us, or whatever. This is the Lonely Dreamer Tarot, which did not come out this year, I don't think, or maybe it did, 2020. But this was a second edition, and I think the creator's doing like a third and final edition on Kickstarter right now. You know, if you've been around my channel for a minute, like, you know, I don't love a lot of times existing art sort of made into tarot decks. This actually really works beautifully. And I backed this obviously thinking it was beautiful, and then it came in, and, you know, as I do, I was just distracted, and I thought, that's pretty, and I put it right on the shelf. And then something this year made me look at it, and I was like, Jesus, this is a beautiful fucking deck. Really gorgeous. So I thought about backing the new edition. I have so many decks, you know what I mean? And, like, as much as I love it, you know, it's like I don't need a second copy of it. But you know, if you like it, now's the time, because the creator is sort of like, this is the last one. But it's stunning. Beautiful, beautiful tarot, really. And again, just to sort of successfully manipulate existing artwork into something that works as a tarot deck is, I think, rare and cool. This is the Super Lunaris Tarot, which, again, I do not think came out this year, and I think this is the second edition or another edition of it. And my friend Liz was like, I think you're going to like this deck. I'm like, it's a collage deck. I don't like collage decks often, which is not true. I actually do like collage decks from time to time, and this one I really like. The cardstock is unlike anything I've ever touched before, and I love it. It's so cool. It is collage, but it doesn't feel disjointed. And again, it's sort of all the things that I want out of a deck in 2022, in a lot of ways. So I think it's just super Lunaris. This is a card I don't love. There's a couple. This just looks like a Summer's Eve commercial to me. You know, sorry about it. There are a couple others, but for the most part, you know, it's rare that there's a deck where I don't hate one or two of the cards. You know, the next one I'm going to show you is similar in that way. There's a couple cards I really don't like, but a lot of it I do. So the Super Lunaris Tarot, I think, is gorge. For a collage deck, I find it really cohesive. One of the things they achieve really nicely is lighting, which is hard to do with collage. And that's usually where the sort of creep factor comes in, is that you can tell the lighting of the different areas or characters or whatever is different. And they somehow manage to make everything kind of look like it belongs where it is, except for those rare occasions, like that Three of Cups, where it doesn't work. So now we're getting into actually let me not show that one yet. So I'm gonna pause that one, the one I was about to tell you about, and share the Spectro Whirl with you. Spectro Whirl. So when I did my review of this, prompted by Auntie K Tarot's review on Indie Deck Review. How many times can I say review? I didn't realize there were 2 editions, and I had gotten the first edition, and she was reviewing the second edition. So I went and got the second edition too. I love them both. I feel like I like the first edition more, but I can't tell if it's because that's the first one I saw. The entire major is different in the 2. Both, as I understand it, are still available, and I was able to get both, really easily. It's so trippy and funky and cool. And I love it. It's like, holy wow. And I do like both editions. I think maybe if I had seen the second edition first, I might prefer that one. I don't know. I can't tell. I'm happy to have both. I just love it. It just feels so vibrant and alive and, rhythmic and rad, So I think it's just another sort of cool home run of a deck. I think there are comparisons out there. I can't recall. I thought about doing one, but I get lazy. What can I say? I'm a human. And a tired one at that. My phone is blowing up. What is going on? Hold on one sec. Just responding. No one wants my attention unless I'm doing something. Alright, here's the one that I was going to show you a minute ago. So this one I think did come out this year. This is the Tower of Life, which I, again, found through Auntie K. And I love it. I love its simplicity, its sort of neutralness. I love the sort of hand-drawn quality of it. There are a couple cards. I love this Emperor. It is very modern. I mean, I did this whole thing this year about, just exploring modern decks that don't sort of have a mock or faux historical, like this Ten of Wands is like, holy fuck. You know what I mean? This world also I find incredible. I don't know that I know what it means, but I like that. I just love it. So a big favorite this year, definitely in my top 3. And I have 2 more to show you. So I guess this is my top 3. I just love the neutrality of it. I love the representational nature of it. It just really is successful overall. And the couple cards that I don't like about it are really just minor quibbles, you know what I mean? It's just a taste thing. Like, this isn't my favorite star, but it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing about it that I'd, actively hate. There's a couple cards that look like Tippi Hedren to me. I don't know if that was on purpose. Tippi Hedren from The Birds, if you don't know that movie. But, super duper good. Yeah, love this deck. Big hit. It's spendy. It's for a deck it's spendy, but I think worth it if and the creator has had several sales in the last few months, so love it. Big love. This one did not come out this year, but a new edition of it is going to, and actually I really like the alterations they've made. This is the Fifth Spirit deck. It's another one that I got and sort of looked at and liked and then put aside. And then in kind of doing the video about reading with modern decks, I pulled it out and I was like, wait, why has this been sitting on my shelves? There were a few things I didn't like about it when I did my initial review, and there's still things I don't like about it. One of which is that in some cases, it's hard to tell which suit you're looking at in certain cards. Unless you look really closely. The creator for the new mass market edition has added the suit titles to the cards. Some of the colors have been bumped up and emboldened. Some cards have been altered entirely. it's a little less sort of sepia. It seems like I'll do a comparison because I have pre-ordered the new edition. I really am not loving mass market anything right now, but this is a deck that I think is really special, and so I pre-ordered it. And I really do want to do a comparison. This is a time where, you know, it is a deck I think needs and deserves attention. And again, and this card actually, when I did a reading for a couple clients, like I did a reading for someone and I picked this deck and they were like, oh my god, and they got the Chariot, like I do roller derby, like this is like me, this is my, and like it's just like that's why Modern Deck to me I think ultimately is exciting, and why this has become one of my most used decks of 2022 and one of my favorite decks overall, is because the way it made people feel seen really made me happy. And to me, again, that's like when we talk about inclusion and representation in tarot, like to me it is a political thing, but the politics are about making people feel welcome and seen, and like that's me, you know what I mean? Like I'm queer, I'm non-binary, I'm fat, I'm disabled, like whatever, you know what I mean? Like those aren't bad words, even though society tells us they are. And like, you know what I mean? Just, I don't know, to have people feel seen by a deck to me is like the whole point of why we do fucking readings to begin with. So I love this deck a lot. Really big hit. And sometimes things, you know, they don't hit with you right away. They're just sort of waiting and biding their time until you're ready for them. And I don't think I was ready for this one when it came in. I liked it. I thought it was brilliant. And then it sat aside, and then I had to use it this year. The final one, and my kind of favorite, I have not made a video about. I got my hands on it this year because I saw it on Instagram. It is sold out pretty much everywhere. I did manage to find a copy of it. Actually, I managed to find 2 copies of it, which I snapped up. And it's the Lubanco Tarot, and it is stunning. I've really enjoyed reading with this. Again, it's modern, but sort of timeless. I love the cardstock. I love the artwork. You know, if I had one quibble, it's a little... the color palette is a little sort of in a big reading kind of limited. But that's a minor complaint for one of the most astonishing decks I've ever seen. It's queer, it's representational, it's strange, it's tarot, it's gorgeous, it's sexy in some cases. I had a few clients say, oh wow, this is intense. It is. Maybe, you know, it's not the deck that I reach for when it's someone's first reading. Love the backs, by the way. But it really is gorgeous. And the reason I haven't done a video about it is because I didn't want to sort of, you know, if you haven't seen it, make you go, oh, I need that. And then, oh, fuck, like it's sold out. And they're not planning on doing another printing. I hope they change their mind at some point. Or, you know, they're sort of like open to a mass market publisher coming in and doing it. Like, I'd love to think the mass market works that way, but they don't seem to do that. They seem to just center the same old garbage most of the time. I really do hope, though, that another edition of this comes out, because I really hope more people get to use it. It is so good and fresh and vibrant, and, you know, it's not afraid of bodies. It's not afraid of sex. It's not afraid of blood. You know, and these are things that I think are part of life. You know what I mean? So, like, this is a card in particular that I think people find intense, as I said. But again, like, humaning. I love this deck so much. So this is my favorite. These are my top 3, but these are my favorites of 2022. Not my favorite year by any stretch of the imagination. But a decent year in terms of decks. There were others that I pulled down off the shelf this year. I grabbed the Fountain Tarot again, you know, after years of sort of finding it cold. And I've just changed a lot as a reader in the years since I first got this, when it really first came out. And I found it works pretty well, actually, for me, you know. There were other ones that I wished sort of would be better, and then others that, like, I am excited to learn more about, like this Between the Worlds card set by Monika Bodersky has kind of an amazing introduction in the guidebook from Debbie Wilson Denard, who is a traditional knowledge practitioner and life promotion ambassador, who is an indigenous First Nations author and friend of the creator of the deck. And even the way that Monica writes the book, there's just this sort of like connection to sort of the pre-Christian world, the pre-colonial world in the writing and in the cards. And I haven't finished the book yet. I used this in the video I made about sort of being able to read with any kind of system. But this, I do think is a specific system and deserves attention, and I'm really excited to learn more about it. I couldn't include it. I love the idea of it, but I haven't worked with it enough to say it's a favorite. But very, very excited by this, for sure. Another one that I think I'll give an honorable mention to, I can't even say honorable mention, is the Glowwood Oracle, and I don't know when this came out either. This is another kind of brilliant Oracle deck that has a system to it. I have read the guidebook on this. This, I don't even remember if I made a video about it. It is intense. Like, this is kind of one of the deepest, most sort of like textured, thought out Oracle decks and systems I've ever seen. The cards are gorgeous. The cardstock is gorgeous. You do sort of want to print out from the maker's website this little key, because there are symbols all over the cards that categorize the deck. The spreads are just incredible. And then I was just sort of gasping as I was reading the intro. There's some quotes and just some things. Witchcraft can be seen as a religion of ecology. Its goal is harmony with nature, so that life may not just survive but thrive. Learning nature's patterns, we become aware, able to see not only into the deep truths of the present situation, but also to make reasonable conclusions about the past and even to predict the future. It's just so thoughtful, and it made me think about like spirituality as a political act, as divination. I always say divination is a political act, but like spirituality as social justice. Witchcraft or nature-based religions as social justice religions. And how we can't divorce ourselves from those things. I've always said for years, I don't understand why the religious right is so tied to this sort of climate change denialism, because, if you accept that God or the gods made the heavens and the earth and we're like fucking it up, how do you think that those gods are going to react? They're going to be pissed off. So anyway, excuse me, I'm getting like coldy. That's my favorites. So those are a couple of honorable mentions, but that's what I got for you. Hope you enjoyed it. Be good. Happy New Year.